Hi, I'm Lee from Normandy Atelier. Today we are going to paint Moonlight Peacock. I love peacocks so much. They are beautiful and majestic, and I wanted to paint something summery and in the middle of the night and the moonlight, and I thought this kind of a composition would be nice to attempt. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your time with me. For my materials today, I am using an A2 canvas paper. I'm using acrylic paint. My colors are titanium white, ivory black, burnt umber, cobalt blue, deep green, cadmium yellow, dark hue. Also, I have burnt sienna and turquoise. I might use them, I might not. They are optional. For my brushes today, I have number 20 flat brush, number 18 flat brush, number 8 flat brush, number 6 and number 4 round brushes. Also, I have like few detailed brushes, number 0, number 000, and number 2. Also, I might use a pencil or a piece of a chalk to do a little bit of a sketch. Also, we need a cup of water to clean our brushes and some kind of a paper towel just to dry them. And that is everything we are going to need today. So the first step, I want to do the first layer or the first coat for the entire painting. I'm going to mix some kind of a grayish kind of a blue. I'm going to mix some like lots of white and lots of cobalt blue together to start. Maybe same amount of both of them, but I'm going to add black to make it dark and white. So technically I'm adding gray, black, and a little bit of brown to it. The brown will make it a little bit neutral, but I want something really light and desaturated. Something like this, maybe a little bit even lighter than this. I'm going to add way more white and black to it and see. Something like this, like it's a grayish kind of a blue color. And when I arrive to this, I'm just going to use whatever I still have on my round brush that I used for, because like I don't want to waste any kind of paints. Then I can have my number 20 flat brush and I can do the entire canvas with this color. And it's just the first layer. I thought that this kind of a color could provide me with lots of, like it will be a good start for everything else that I'm going to add, because I want to paint some kind of a night scene, and I thought this grayish color could be good to like indicate the background, the very far background, the sky, whatever it is I'm going to add later to it. So yeah, we could add a touch of green if we want to it and make it greener, but I thought the blue is great. And I mixed a lot because I am using an A2 canvas. It's a big canvas. And you can do whatever kind of a brush stroke. If you are painting with me, you can go circular, you can go crisscross from left to right, whatever it is. And just to cover the entire thing. We can add a touch of water if the paint is not moving. That will help a lot. Something like this. Sorry if I am blocking the way, but like it's a little bit hard to see from this angle on this side, on the right side. And I am just looking for a solid color, solid coat. And the colors, because I had a lot of white, it helps with the opacity. But if it's a streaky, if it's something like that, that is completely fine. Or if there are some spots that they are not fully painted, like we missed them or something, that is completely fine, because we are going to add lots of things to this later. We are going to add our moon, our bird, the clouds, the foliage, all that kind of atmosphere. So this is just a first step to achieve that, and I hope it's going to be successful, because like this color is really light comparing to the dark scene that I am imagining, but that is fine. This grayish tone. And if some of the colors, like here, like I feel like I'm having more blue because it's the end, maybe the color was not fully mixed on my palette, it's completely fine, don't worry about it. Again, a touch of water just to collect all the paints from the brush for this, like, because I don't want to mix more. And we can just finish this entire thing. I used it all. Now, when you finish, just dry your canvas and we can move to the next step. So the next step, I want to paint some kind of an atmosphere dimension for the entire canvas, especially up here in the corners, adding some illumination here where the moon is going to be, and in the middle of the canvas where my bird is going to be, so it's going to pop a little bit when we paint it. Added some kind of texture, like here around the corners, especially here we have his tail technically, so I'm not going to concerned about it, but here up in these corners, I'm going to use cobalt blue, my white, black, brown, and white. But I'm going to mix a few colors. First of all, I need some kind of a dark blue color. I'm going to mix just black with my cobalt blue and a touch of white. Not a lot. It's going to lean more dark than what we did before. Something like this. Maybe a touch of brown as well. So whatever we did here with those same colors but less white, more brown, more black, something like this. This is really nice. Like comparing this to this, like it's really clear. I'm going to add more cobalt blue here. I feel like it lost some of the opacity, some of the vibrancy of the color. Something like this is really nice. Now with my number 20 flat brush, I can have this color up here, but I'm going to actually start with the lighter tones. I'm going with a little bit of the background color, if I still have it. I don't have a lot, with touch of white. And I can have those like here, maybe more white. I can add circles from those colors. I can have so with the background color and white together, I can have those lighter tones here, maybe more white. Here, touch of yellow, maybe just to add a little bit of illumination happening here. Not a lot because I don't want it to feel like too green on me, just a touch of yellow, maybe more white here. And I'm just going to make the center of my canvas, like here I will add all this illumination happening. I can add like hints of this blue, just the cobalt blue around here as well, so it will feel like more saturated. But again, like just altering these colors, focusing on this like elements, and I don't want them to fully like emerge into each other, but something like this. Maybe here more, maybe more yellow. Maybe the moon here is like adding some sunshine here or something, who knows. I can have just cobalt blue. And again, if the paint is not moving, we can add some water and make everything move like this, in this manner. To add this atmospheric, dreamy dimension. Something like this. not a lot. Now I can have my darkest tones and I can have them here. Maybe here. And I don't need to do 100 full percent like cover of the entire thing, because I already have my background, which like it's providing me with all these beautiful tones, which is great. But still, something like this here, maybe more, until around maybe the fourth of the canvas or the quarter of the canvas from the down below. Same as here, do this. Here in these places, do some kind of a connection. I'm adding mixing the colors over each other, so like they will have layers here. Maybe more here with this color like this. I can have just blue. I can add the blue, the cobalt blue over here as well. The blue is really nice. You can add purple, or you can mix a very dark purple color as well if you want, but I want to keep it bluish in tones, stuff like this here. You can use touches of black as well, and if there is any color that is too much for you, you can always counter it with whatever color you started with. But something like this, I like the atmosphere dimension that we are building. Maybe some whites here, because it became like too much, or if it's too aggressive, we can add the whites over it like this to have some kind, again, some kind of transition. Maybe more yellow here, yellow here. Again, I'm just adding these colors over each other, not fully like blending them. Keeping everything close and atmospheric like this. Now I can have blue, again, have touches of blues here, maybe here. This is just the background. Everything is like out of focus. Everything is very, what is the word? Everything is very abstract almost with all these tones. And I am not cleaning my brush, because like I can use it like to build all these like tones that I am searching. Something like this, more blues here. This is really nice, like turning very pretty. I'm looking to it from behind, and I feel like I achieved whatever everything that I wanted. Maybe just of blues, a touch of blue here, because it's like a little bit one-dimensional. And maybe some yellow. I love the yellow. The yellow is one of my all-time favorite colors. But something like this, now we can have like some kind of a moon here. Even if it's like darker, it's fine. Like this is just foliage, it will be. But something like this, maybe like just some whites here, make it a little bit lighter, but something like this. And yeah, when you finish, we can move to the next step. So the next step, I'm going to use a piece of chalk and my pencil to do a sketch for where my bird is, and I need to find the halfway point from the right. It's going to be somewhere in this vicinity. Here it will be like our branch, so I'm going to start from this side. I can find the halfway point from the other side. It will be somewhere in here. I'm going to go a little bit down and I will have a mark. So I need to find the third of my canvas. It will be somewhere in this vicinity, like somewhere in this vicinity here. I can now connect those together. I can have my branch starting somewhere in this vicinity here, and it will start like up here, and it will arrive somewhere like here. So some kind of an organic shape to it. Here it will have like some kind of a split until it arrives here. Like this will be here. There will be something like this, maybe. Some kind of an organic shape to it. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. It's a branch anyway. Something like that. And then we will have the bird sitting here. And for the bird, the body, it will have some kind of an egg shape here for the body, and it will have a circle for the head. But I need to position it first, because if this is here the halfway and this is here the quarter, I am somewhere in between them, like maybe here, and the body will arrive somewhere in this vicinity here, somewhere in this vicinity here, and this is here the quarter, and this is here the quarter again. I will have just a mark here where the quarters are connected, and I can have his body happening something like this here, like this. I can have his head. If this is here the center of the canvas, I can go a little bit down and a little bit to the right, but it will arrive somewhere over the head, and I can have some kind of a circle here, like this. And now I can connect those with like some kind of a line. So here we will have his like neck from this side and from this side, but I want his neck to feel like a little bit narrow from up. Let it arrive here, and it will arrive here, something like this. And if I find, oh, the body is too large, I can make it too small, I can make it larger, like this. Then I can have a touch of water on my brush, and I can delete this here for the head, and I can delete all the thing that I don't need, something like this. And I feel like the body, it needs more, like maybe the neck is coming all the way like here, like this. Yeah, it needed more shape, like this, from this side. And I keep fiddling with it until like I am done. And here we will have like his tail happening, and I want the tail to maybe arrive somewhere in this like vicinity here, and I'm doing just an organic shape, and I'm keeping these like edges where these edges happening, something like this. He will have the tail of it from this side, and we will have some kind of a beak to it. So I'm just rounding the head a little bit up, and I can have like his beak happening like this. Maybe it's a small beak, it doesn't need to be too big like I did it in the first place. But again, with a touch of water, we can always modify it. I'm just going to round this a little bit more, like this, from the other side as well. And I feel like the neck needs to be a little bit rounder from this side, here, and maybe a little bit like this from this side. It doesn't need to be exact, it's just something representational of this bird. Something like this. Maybe it's a little bit rounder here, like this as well. Yeah, something like this. This is better. Arrive here, like this. And as we said, this is here, the peak. I can just delete some of the lines. This is here our branch. I don't need it. Here as well, I don't need it. And maybe just we can round this up until I arrive here. So I don't need to paint lots of like details on the branch itself. It will be on the branch. Maybe his leg is on the other side. Something like this. That is like more than enough. And now we can move to the next step. For the next step, I'm going to do the first layer on my bird and on the branch. Just the first layer, and I'm going to start with the branch. I'm just going to use my number 6 round brush, and we can use maybe too small. I'm going to use my number 8 flat brush. I think it's easier, and I'm just using burnt umber, dirty burnt umber, whatever it has on it, and I can just do this here, keeping it organic as if it's possible. I am bumping into my tail because I don't want to feel like I am painting around it. But I don't need to paint the entire thing, something like this. And from the other side, just burnt umber. I'm not mixing anything with it, but we will add shadows and details to it in a minute. If you want to stick to the round brush, you can. I like what they are called, my flat brushes. I used to paint a lot with round brushes, especially in like something like this, like the branches. But I don't know, lately I feel like I am really enjoying and the flat brushes. And to be honest, I did a painting of a peacock before. It was similar composition to this, but it was a different scene. It was a scene from like an autumn scene or something like that. And it was from YouTube, from a YouTube tutorial when I was starting to learn how to paint, because I am self-taught. I enjoy painting, but since I did that painting, and it's one of my favorite painting that I did myself. Maybe it was the last ever tutorial that I did. Maybe that was like 2 years ago or something. I told myself one day I'm going to paint a peacock and it will be mine, but well, here I am. I'm trying to do the same. I'm trying to paint it myself, but with a different scenery. Maybe the composition, I'm changing some things here and there, but in general, it's similar, but not 100%. For example, the other one, it had its tail coming here. It was shorter, stuff like that. So I'm playing with it, and it was not a night scene, but you know, while I have the brown, I can color some of, like, I can have some kind of a wing, kind of a shape, like I can separate this here with this, like an organic kind of a line, like zigzaggy kind of a line, and I can paint this with brown. It will like indicate, it will add lots of atmosphere later, just the background or the back layer of this specific part of his body, just solid color for now. Why I have this, keeping these rounder, like we can always modify everything we want, something like this. And don't worry about any kind of like directional brush stroke or something. I don't want to overwhelm myself, and I don't like to give like instructions, but I'm just trying to explain what I am doing. So, but if you preferred something else, if you are painting with me, of course you can do that. I'm not sure, like maybe here just a little bit like this. Here, this is the tail will come here, so it will be covered. I don't need to paint the entire thing. Just maybe a little bit here. I'm not sure how the tail is going to be, because I'm going to make it a little bit loose. Something like this here. Now I'm going to clean my brush. And I'm going to color the head and the neck here with just cobalt blue. But I'm going to use my number 6 round brush for that. It's easier. It has a little bit of brown on it. That is fine, it's not a big deal if it's like a little bit dirty, but I'm going to clean it. And I can do these lines here. Well, trying to do them. And I don't need my chalk marks anymore, so I can just delete them. And I can do this here. Like if I bump to my brown, it's fine. Because again, this is only the first layer of the neck here. As well here. And I'm just putting my brush and I am just push it away, push it in. That will provide me with lots of control of the width of it. And I can add a touch of water to the paint so it can move easily on me. And here I can just do the round neck, the round head, like this. Color it in. And if there are some of the lines that they are a little bit really bad, we can just fix them like here. Like those places need lots of precision because I don't want to mess it up and try to fix them again and again. So I'm trying to be really cautious. Even the oops, I had it over my hand. Even the peak, I can do it with blue for now. And we can add to it in a minute, it's fine. But just the blue, it will add all these like a very good, what is it called? Very good shadows later. And I can bring this blue here toward this like area like this. Because this is just the chest of it, like, and it's like looking back with his neck, something like this. For now. Now I can go to my number 20 flat brush. Actually, no, I'm going to my number 18 flat brush. It's a little bit smaller than what we used before. And I can start working on the tail. For the tail, because the moon is going to be here, I'm going to have a little bit of lighter tone up here and darker from this side maybe, just to start with that. So I'm going with a little bit of actually burnt sienna and brown on my brush, and I can have like longer strokes like this happening here. So those two colors, maybe more burnt sienna, and here as well. And as you see, I'm just keeping everything unsystematic like this. Now I can have burnt sienna and green maybe, and blue at the same time here. From this side here, it's a little bit muddy and like this here. I can have more brown here. All these colors now happening here, which is great. I can have more brown here, down. I want just more darkness. So on the edges here, maybe more brown. This is just the first layer, so don't worry if it's not good or perfect or whatever it is. I'm just adding the brown tones here. And I'm going to make it darker. This is just what we are going to start with, and most of this will be covered later because I want it to feel like really dark in a minute. I'm going to add now some blues to my brush, so blue and brown here. Blue and brown at the same time, cobalt blue and brown. And I am just even going to the other places that I did before, like this, here as well. Maybe more blue here on my dirty brush. Then everything is connected. I can go up here like this. I can have blue and brown and green. And again, I'm keeping those edges here and systematic here. It will feel like it's flowing and it's coming from these sides here. It's very nice. I can have some burnt sienna as well, just to add some warmth to the equation here. Maybe more brown in the middle here. As you see, it's really messy now. It's very streaky and it doesn't look really good, but again, this is only the first layer. I can have touches of yellow up here because I feel like the yellow was a good call here for this side. You can add more yellow just to indicate some the moonlight coming up. We'll add other colors later, like white and I don't know what else, but white and blues and grays, stuff like that, and black, of course. I just want to cover those here. I don't want to see any of those like here. Something like this. Now I can just go back to my number 6 flat brush, or this is number 4, number 6, doesn't matter, whatever color, whatever brush it is, and I can fix those here so it feels like it's connected here, because I don't want to see like a place where the tree is doesn't make any kind of sense. I just can add the blue here just to connect those and finish that. While I have this brush, I can do the first layer for those the crown that the peacock has. I'm just going with touches of blues on my round brush, and I can have these dots happening just above the head. Maybe 2 layers of those, like maybe here. Something like this. Like just above the head, and if we need to do more to them later, we can add another one like this, something like this. And yes, this is everything for this step. So the next step, and while my peacock is like drying out, I can add my moon. So I'm just going now with a little bit of white, a teeny tiny touch of brown, just to make this tannish kind of a color. If this is here the quarter of my canvas, And this is here the contour of my canvas from this side. I can go up. I am somewhere in this vicinity here. I can have my moon here, starting here. It will arrive. It will be a circle like this here. Maybe a little bit even up. Wait, somewhere in this vicinity. It doesn't need to be exactly like mine, but I'm just going with some kind of a circle like here. With this color. And I'm starting small because I always get the moon bigger than what I wanted, but something like this, I can have my moon. As you see, I already made it bigger, so I'm just adding a touch of water to my paint just to make those lines easier to control. And it's a little bit softer on these edges, especially now. I messed it up again. Drawing a moon or a circle is really hard. I feel like something like this is good. Let me check from behind. Maybe it needs a little bit of a circle up here. It's like this. And maybe up. And it's a moon. It doesn't need to feel complete. And we can cover it with some foliage in a minute. But something like this, and now I can add stuff to it. So I'm just having touches of brown, and I can have like touches happening, make it a little bit darker from one side. I can have touches of yellow on my dirty brush, make it illuminated, maybe here, maybe here. I can have a touch of blue with white, so white and blue, just to make some kind of a different shade. We can have like this. Now I can clean my brush and I can have only white. Maybe here we can have these white edges, maybe here just white. Whenever we didn't like those colors, we can just illuminate them like this. Adding this lemon kind of a color now, like here, maybe here, here, something like this. It's a creamy kind of a color. I like the moon like this. Maybe I can have white and blue to make some kind of a like just shadows with this like very light yellow. And I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to have touches of those colors, and I'm really having almost no paint on my brush, and I want to have a little bit of some kind of a halo effect here around the moon. This brush is not good for this job, so I'm going to my number 8 flat brush, and I can have just those colors as before, and I can have this illumination. Yeah, this brush is great. Any combination of these colors that we use, the yellowish tones could work, but just to add the whitish tones, anything like this. These brushes are really great because they really scrub the paint and move it around before it dries. And I am bumping into my moon itself, so the edges can get soft and soft and soft. Something like this is great. Something like this is nice. Now with this brush, I can mix a very dark blue color. So I'm going to add just black and touch of blue to it. And I'm going to mix a dark green color with just black and touch of green to it. Now I can work some like foliage, but I'm going to use my number 8 flat brush. or number 18 actually. And I don't have too much paint, and I can have foliage or whatever they are happening, or where every like darker place that we have before, we can have some kind of a foliage with this dark blue color, but it doesn't need to fully cover it. It's just like if this is here the foreground foliage, those are the background. So think about them like this. I'm just adding branches and stuff like that here and there, like this. Even like maybe some of them like happening in front of the moon, and we can understand, oh, this is the foreground now, or the foreground of the background, if that makes any sense. Maybe here, maybe here. You could use your other kind of brushes, but I like this one. Like here, maybe here we have a little bit like this happening, and here, stuff like that. Maybe these are the foliage of the tree where the peacock is. Maybe there are other things, like who knows? Like it doesn't matter, but it just work like this. Maybe here we have a branch coming like this from this side as well, and here, and down here we have some foliage as well, happening like this up. And those are just leaves. Technically we don't need to do much to them, but just like I'm adding those marks for these leaves, and I'm just arriving where my peacock is. I'm just going, when I'm going to paint, I'm going to get rid or add some of the tail around them, but we can still see some of them. Something like this. I don't need much here down there. Now I can go to my dark green color. I can add that around the green, around the blues. So we will have other tones happening, but again, it's a night scene, so we don't understand everything that is happening, something like this, but it's just another tone. When it's going to dry, we will see a hint of blue and a hint of green, which is fun. Maybe here, around the moon as well, here. Just adding those together now, maybe here, here. This is very nice, here. And definitely here, like this. We can make them like go around and up. Something like this. We can have hints of those up here. I don't want to add much, but all these kind of things they can add, like just make everything like closed in, and our like bird will be the star of the show. But something like this, that is more than enough. And yeah, when you finish, we can move to the next step, but make sure to dry your canvas before that. So the next step, I'm going to finish the branch here and adding some details for the foliage as well. And for the branch, I just need to illuminate where the light is coming from and darken the other side. I'm going to have some black for the shadows part, maybe with brown together. And I can start with this, maybe more just black, because my black is really see-through. Anyway, it's always see-through. But we can add shadows from this side here, here maybe like this. Here where my bird is, I'm just going to darken this the entire thing here, like the bird is casting a shadow here, like this here. From this side, I'm darkening all this section here, where the bird is. And I can darken all these sections up down here now, from like down, because it's a three-dimensional. And this is how we build dimension. We add darkness and shadows and highlight and stuff like this. From this side, maybe here, we will have some darkness from this side. And of course, like when we add those darkness, we can define where this object is happening. So here, this branch is like having light from this side. Maybe this one is from this side. Maybe it doesn't need to, but I feel like I want to add more darkness here. Make it darker, actually, something like this. Now I can have lightness with some yellow and white and a little bit of burnt sienna and brown. And I can diffuse it here like this. And here as well, we can have whatever lighter tones we want, and we can add this up here. So to feel like it's touching catching the light of the moon up here. Whenever we don't like it, we can counter it with touches of brown to feel it's a little bit lighter. We can have a touch of water if the paint is not moving. And I can have some lightness up here. Feel like this, nice. I can have touch of burnt sienna for this kind of illumination happening here, the transition, especially like this. I can have a touch of blue as well here, for especially over the shadow. I feel the blue is nice because it feels like darker and interesting. I don't know, I love the blue in this scene, so I'm just adding more blue. For the illumination, nice, even here. Now I can have some kind of a yellow kind of a tone, and I can have the yellow. I prefer the yellow to the burnt sienna now after I'm seeing it. So I'm just adding this here as well. Just a touch of water with the paint so it moves a little bit easier. And we can add those. I can clean my brush. I can get some burnt umber. And if there are things that I didn't like, I can again add burnt umber to them. And just try to draw some kind of a transition, look into it from behind. This here feels a little bit too much of a color, so I'm just adding touch of burnt umber up here, like this. Can go with white for the highlighted here part up here. But I'm not having too much paint. Can just diffuse it a little bit with the brush, even here. Something like this is more than enough. And I can have some green and some blues with my number 6 round brush. And I can add some kind of like third layers on those. So blue with teeny tiny touch of the mix that we did before. So it will feel like a little bit darker of my cobalt blue. I don't want it to feel like it's the same as the bird itself. And we can have more. Actually, I'm going to my number 18 flat brush. It's bigger and easier, and I can just add smaller touches of those whenever I feel like there is some kind of a light, maybe here, here, here. Not a lot, something like this, here, maybe here from this side, here. Yeah, like this, here. Stuff like this, not a lot of work, like smaller details here and here, maybe here, till I am running out of paint. Like maybe this is just the moon, the moonlight happening on these places. Maybe it's just something else glowing. Yeah, think this is exactly what is the best word, glowing. It's just glowing, glowing stuff from the moon. Now I can go to my green without cleaning my brush, and I can have touches of even less touches of greens. I don't want it to feel greenery. I want it to feel less and less of that color, but something like this. Maybe more greenery down here. A little bit maybe here, maybe here. And if the greenery was too much, because here we can add some blue. Something like this. I can now clean my brush, and I can have whatever kind of a yellowish color, and I can have it touching more highlights here and there happening, maybe here as well, with this color here, a little bit up. Just illumination. I'm just tabbing it. It's very impressionistic. I am not really concerned about most of the things that I am doing, like to be precise or something like that. It's just tabbing those colors here and there, just to add something else, you know, just to add a hint of some. Maybe these are flowers. Maybe these are, I don't know, other things that is happening from this side. Just the moon reflecting on them, and we have like something interesting to look at. Something like this. Until I am like almost run out of paint, I can have those like here, here, like this. Some of the glow of the moon with the white, even here, here. Something like that. Oh, something like this. This is really nice. Now I can make some kind of a grayish kind of a color. So I'm just having a touch of black and a touch of white. And we can have this. I'm not going white because like I feel like it's going to be overwhelming. Something like this. Around the places here, where there is some kind of yellow, I can add stuff of white, but like this is really pretty. Here, here. Just the glow of whatever we did before. That's it. It's just the glowing part. And because I almost ran out of paint, like everything is working very well. Something like this is really nice. Maybe touches here, like this. It will soften everything up, the white. Touches of greens here and here. Can go to my cobalt blue. I can add blues here and there. On my dirty brush, if I didn't like something or something like this, I can go back to the darkest color. If there are places that are become like lost some darkness, I can add darkness to them. Something like this. Let me check from behind. That looks great. Yeah, when you finish, we can move to the next step. So the next step, I'm going to work on my bird, especially here, the neck area and the wing area before we move to the tail. But I feel like the neck needs to be a little bit wider, maybe here from this side. So I'm going to start with this. So if the neck's coming here, maybe it's coming a little bit up here, because I feel like I needed to have a little bit of girth to it or something here. It feels off. That is always happening, that is fine. Maybe your bird is already perfect and you don't need to do anything to it, that is fine. But for me, sometimes like when the entire thing is like almost complete, I feel like, oh, this part needs a little bit of an adjustment or it need a little bit extra work. And this is like painting on with some kind of like steps really helps. So you will look to it from behind. Make everything a little bit rounder here. Yeah, like this. Need it to be a little bit even bigger. Like here, yeah, like this. It was a little bit weird before, like it was going to fall off or something. Something like this. Just rounding this section up like this. Nice. Yeah, this is way much better than before. Just need to finish this here near the tree. Like this, nice. Now I can have touches of black. Just to do the shadow again here. That's the shadow part again with black. Like this. Without any brown as we did before. Something like this is nice. Maybe more black here, actually. Strengthen some of these shadows if it's like they are too brown. Something like this here, maybe here. Now I can clean my brush, and I want to start working on the face, on the head itself. So I had my grayish tones that I did before, and I can now work a little bit on my peak here with this color. Like this, nice. And here I can color the entire beak with this color here. It still have some bluish tones, that is fine, but see, this is very similar to here, but we are going to fix that in a minute. And now here, those birds have this like some kind of a section for their eyes, and we can have that section coming maybe around here, and it will arrive some kind of here, like here. It will bump up and go down like this, nice. And from here it will arrive like this from this side, and it will arrive here like this. For the eye, we can color the entire thing with this color for now. for this mask kind of a thing, like this, and this is the beak from the other side, like here. Now I can have touch of black with this grayish tone. I can have some kind of lines happening here, very thin lines for the head, like this. For the crown kind of thing. I'm going to clean my brush because I don't want more lightness now. I can have some black, and I can just contour a little bit of the peak, especially from down here, just to separate it from the background, something like this. And it will be shadowed anyway, so I can have black with the grayish tones again, just to make it a little bit darker here, up here, like this. It's nice, why not? And I can just continue with the black to do the mask and the eye. So I'm just going to have some kind of a section here inside. Oops. Some kind of a section here for that. Like, it's mostly black here, but we will still have some white. So something like this here. Maybe it's even coming like having some kind of a section here, like this. Nice. Yeah, like this. It's really nice. I can clean my brush. I can go to white again, or to that grayish tone, and I can have some kind of another one like happening here, maybe some kind of a feather type of a thing happening, why not? I can have the same color. I can have his eye with just a hint of this one here and one here, like this, like this, something like this. That is great. I can have a touch of blue, and I can have touches of blues inside the eye itself, here on the peak from this side. Can clean my brush. I can have only white for the peak from this side, where the moon is, like this. Nice. And for the eye itself, like, we can have illumination over here, like this. I can have white on those lines that we did before. They don't need to be invasive, but something like this. We can use a smaller brush, but if we use just the tip of the brush here, it will work greatly. I can have the white, and I can just do some kind of a highlight on those sections here, like this. I can have some black, and I can have black lines, something like this. This is great. Now I can have a touch of yellow and white for the peak, and we can have an illumination happening here, like this. And if it's too much, like what happened, I can have white over it again. I feel like the beak is too big. Like, I feel like the beak needs to be only here, like this. But again, if that is happened, I can just do white, blue, a touch of brown or something, as we did in the background, and we can diffuse this here, like this. And we can rework the peak itself, so like I feel like it was too big and I didn't like it. So just white now, immediately here. Yeah, like this is better. Yeah, it was too big. This is great. I can have touches of black just to have a hint of a shadow from this side here. Like this. This is better. I can have a touch of yellow for the highlight from this side, from the moon, whatever it is. Like this. This is nice. I feel like even here with the neck, I can fix some of these of the neck here. It's too thick from this side, so I can just small it up like this. That is better. Now I can clean my brush, and I can add the highlight on the head with mostly white with touches of blues. And I'm going to add the highlights on a textured manner. I can add even a touch of green. So green, yellow, blues, and white, just to have this kind of a teal kind of a color for the highlight. Something like this is really nice. Yeah, this kind of a teal of a color. And I can just dab it on because I don't want much. And I can use just the tip of the brush just to add some highlights here and there. On this manner, like this. Up here. Here maybe. And I can go to just the cobalt blue and add more cobalt blue around it like this. Made it a little bit texture. I can add some here, even here with the steel color like this. This is really nice. I can work the teal color here in the middle. Feel like I'm still not really happy 100% with the neck. I wanted to come here, like up, like this, yeah. Like it feels too stiff for some reason. Yeah, like this. This is 100% better. And this angle here, I need just to round it a little bit up. Yeah. Yeah, like this. And I can go to my teal color again with this round brush, and I can have just dots of that here on this, like around on this side. It will be really textured from this side like this. It will arrive maybe here. Nice. Now I can have black and blue together, so it will have a darker shade of blue for the neck here. Again, very textured. Maybe up here like this. And I don't need to cover everything, like some of the blue could still be showing, but like this corner here, like I feel like it's the neck, it will feel like this. This section here as well, it will feel like darker blue. I'm just going to make it darker. I'm just tapping it. We can use the number 4 if we want. Something like this. Happening from this side, around here up, for those sections to connect. This texture is really important, I feel. Something like this. This is really nice. And here on this side of the neck as well. Again, black and blue together on my brush. Yeah, like this. It's really pretty. And again, some of the blue still showing, some of them still like not. Maybe some of on the neck from this side, it will be a little bit on the dark. Here. Up here. The peak from this side. Something like this. And if I didn't like it, like what happened here, I can add blue over it. And the teal color again, especially up here. Yeah, it's much better now. I didn't like that. Maybe here. Just blue maybe. Something like this is nice. I can have a touch of white on my dirty brush, and I can have some even highlights with white, but I don't need much. I can just add, especially up here, maybe the neck here, here. Something like this. This is cool. I feel like I need some highlights here. I'm going with this like color up here. Yeah. Near the light from the moon from this side, like this. I can have some blue, like this, up here, maybe white. Maybe more darkness in the middle here. Yeah, like this here. Now I need to work on the section here, and I'm going to have like technically like two sections. Maybe the upper part is really illuminated and like almost going to use green and white for the section up, maybe more green than white. And I can have those marks. I'm just going to use my brush like this, and I can have those marks like this here, here, like this. Love this green. I don't need to get rid of the brown. Something like this. Now I can go, not sure, maybe just more white and yellow and green, just to make it different. I don't know. Something like this. Yeah, more vibrant. Maybe the vibrancy needs to be up like this. Here with the illumination, I don't know. And I can clean my brush. I can just go with the green and blue. Together I can mix those. So darker shade of green. I can have it here, yeah. I love this color. We can have it here. And the brown is just working as the shadows of these sections. We can have this here. Like this, nice. And now I can go to my number 18 flat brush, and I can do the first or the second layer on the tail. I can use whatever kind of color that I used before, but I feel like I needed to feel really light up here. So I'm just going to use this here with the greenish tones with touch of water. I really needed to feel flowy and like this. And we can have like this, like hair happening technically. I can go to the same darker green that I did before, and I can have this color here, for example, like this. And now this directional brush stroke really helps to build the entire thing. I can go with like cobalt blue only, and I can have some blue here. I can have just emerald green, and I can have those. I can have some black here and here. Here some black. I'm just building the tonal value of those, the tail feathers. Once again, just adding a second layer on those. Like this, nice. I can clean my brush because I don't want more black for now, at least for now. I can have some yellow and just yellow, and we can have yellow and white maybe up here. Maybe some of them like here, maybe those are catching light also from here, but not a lot. Maybe here, like this. And if it's too much, again, we can go with the green over the yellow, like this. Nice. I love this green here, or the tail, whatever, teal, whatever kind of a color it is. And I'm just doing these strokes, nothing more. I can have a touch of sienna here for like different shade of like. I can have just my dark green now from the tube, and I can have other strokes happening. Maybe here we have one, maybe here, and it's just fun. Whenever I feel like I want to do something, I can do it, but I don't need to cover the entire thing, you know. Stuff like this, it's just colorful and fun. Just and flowy. And I'm just keep alternating between those colors. I can have something lighter up here and vibrant. Maybe here, maybe here. Maybe a touch of water will help if it's just too dry. Yeah. And I feel like I want some kind of a blue color, so I'm just going to mix white and blue. Yeah, we needed that. And I can have the flow of those here. Here as well. So the tail is coming here and going up, so we will have some like this. Yes, maybe this is coming here and going away. Maybe this is coming here like this. I can have just the cobalt blue on my dirty brush. Adding the white will help with the opacity of these colors. Something like this, nice. And you can have whatever kind of a color for your peacock. I'm just making it as colorful as possible, but I don't want to feel like too brownish. That's why I'm adding the brown and the blue here. I want the brown to feel like really minimal, so I'm just adding the green over here. Yeah, like this. Cobalt blue at the end. Nice. Maybe more cobalt blue here. And I'm keep alternating between them, and I don't want really thick lines or thick feathers. So when I feel like there is a thick color still, I can add another color over it to slice it in half, for example, and make it more interesting. But like, yeah, we have like different shades of and tones and different interesting things happening. For example, here we can have more lights from the moon. Here as well. I'm keeping dark and down there. Maybe here a little bit like this. And again, keeping the shape of it. Cohesive. You can understand that, oh, the tail is like splitting here, for example. But something like this, I'm not really happy with the lots of brown. I want the brown to be really minimal. It's just the shadowed part. Maybe some green here. And maybe here, this is just keep happening like this. Nice. Some white here. And whatever is the lightest, it will be up, and we will see it more. But something like this is really, really pretty. And yeah, when we finish, we can move to the next step. So the next step, I'm going to put the eyes, or whatever they are, for the feathers of the peacock on their place. And I'm going to add some shadows and some finishing this, like the wing section here with shadows and highlight. But I'm going to start with the eyes. I can put them in place. And the first thing I'm going to do is just make some kind of a yellowish kind of a tone. So I'm just having like white and my yellow to make some kind of a creamy kind of a color. We could use some kind like Naples yellow, for example, but I don't have that. But some kind of a creamy, soft yellow, something like this. We can have a touch of like burnt sienna to it, just to neutralize it a little bit. Yeah, something like this. Very soft yellow. And with my number 6 brush, I can put those in place. I'm going to make them a little bit smaller up here and will be larger down here. And they are just some kind of like an eye kind of a shape, something like this. Here maybe we have one happening like here. One, I'm going to color it all with this like softer kind of a color, keeping the edges a little bit soft like this. We have one here, and maybe we have a larger one happening here like this. And like this one here, because the tail is going From this angle it will be in a different kind of an angle, like this here. There are eyes or tear shapes or leaves shapes, whatever we want them to be. Maybe we have a bigger one here, but we are seeing just part of it, like this. Nice. Maybe we have one here from an angle or something like this. Maybe we have another one here, like this, smaller one here. One here from this side, up here. Another one here. We can add how many we want. Something like this from this side. Maybe we have one here. Maybe we have a rounder one here, like this. I'm just filling the space with them. Whenever I feel like it makes sense, I can add one. And this is a little bit rounder. It needs to be a little bit rounder, like this. Yeah. Like oval shapes, stuff like this. Maybe we have a smaller one here. Up, like this, nice. Maybe we have a smaller one here. Maybe we have one here. Something like this. I think that's it, that's enough. Now I have this color, I just going to have a little bit of water, and I can use this color as highlights up here. So I can have this as like highlight on every single one that I did. Just adding marks of it like this here. On the shiny part, like this, nice. Now I can have a touch of white, and I can even enhance this white here. The highlight part again. I can have a touch of black, and I can have shadows under some of those where the brown is, like here, here. Maybe here, here, here. Just add shadows under them. Here. Enhance them, the shadows I mean. So I'm switching to my number 4 round brush because it will be easier for those kind of details. Yeah, and I can have those lines under almost every section of those. We can have some kind of a highlight of a shadow here and there. Here, 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 like this. This will help with the separation, with the movement, with everything. I don't need to overdo it, but we can have them on every one of them or on most of them, just to add interest, like here. It will not feel one-dimensional, and it will feel like they are over each other, like feathers are in real life. Here, especially here, this, nice. Okay, clean my brush, and I need some kind of a highlight for those, so I'm just going with my green color, from the tube, the dark green color, and I can have it here. It's as vibrant as it is. Yeah, like this. It can just have that as a highlight, like this, just adding dots and bumps on the highlighted part, like this. Nice. Nothing more, doesn't need more. Something like this, that is great. And again, if I'm still feeling that, oh, there are lots of brown, I can just mask it with some green, like this. And maybe some blue. I can have some blues here and there as shadows as well. Something like this. Nice. I can now clean my brush and I can have some kind of a yellowish tone, but I want darkish tone of yellow, so I'm just going with my cadmium yellow, and I can have some highlights here and there with it as well, like this. It's really nice. We can have it whenever we want, like this. And it's really transparent. It will dry very nicely. I can have more white here. Greenery. This I want to keep it textured, like this. Now, something like this, nice. Now I can continue working on those because they are a little bit dried. So I can just add cobalt blue, and I can add the eye part of it, which is some kind of a circle happening here in the middle. Just cobalt blue, maybe it has a little bit of white just to help with the opacity, like this. And I can do some kind of an eye shape here. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle or an oval, because again this is feather and it could like have lots of shapes and it could be imperfect. That is better actually. I feel like everything I am doing when it's like something organic like this, like nature doesn't have lines, so I embrace that, and I feel like I don't know, I like it because it doesn't make me feel stressful. Something like this, just some kind of an oval kind of a shape in the middle. Here it will not be complete, but we will have just part of it like this. Here. Maybe it's a little bit bigger here, nice. Here. This one as well. Great, now I can clean my brush, and I'm going to use some of my turquoise color from the tube. This is a very pretty color. We could mix it, but because I already have it, it's easier. But I'm just going to mix this color with a little bit of blue, just to darken it a little bit up, and have a touch of white just for the opacity, to have this kind of a very beautiful turquoisey kind of a color. Now with this color I can have sections of this to have some kind of this turquoisey kind of a color up here, maybe like this up here, maybe just more turquoise actually. Like turquoise color here. It will contrast very well with the blue, like this, up. The eye itself. It could be texture or smooth, it doesn't matter. Like this, nice. Here, this is smaller, so I'm just adding this up here. and my pen is still wet, so everything is mixing very well together, which is great. And here as well, I love this turquoise color. And here, now I'm going with just cobalt blue without any white or anything in it, because I really want that saturation. Very beautiful and dark, and I can enhance those here in the middle with some kind of a circle like this. Yes, I'm just dabbing it. Would feel textured a little bit. Yes, like this. I love this color so much now. Yeah, deepen those a little bit here as well. Because the base was a little bit faint from the white that it had in it. It helped with the opacity in the beginning, but something like this. The cobalt blue. Every one of them. And I can have the emerald green color, with touch of white for the opacity, mostly green. And I can have a swipe of green just below, like this. Like this. It doesn't need to be exact or touching or anything, just lines like this. If it's thick or whatever, it's fine. So yeah, something like this. Now I can clean my brush. I can go to my number 6 and we can add more to the tail. So I need some kind of like white and blue, whatever was in my brush, and some yellow, just to make it lighter and lighter. And water, because I don't want much. And I can just have this color, especially here, with this round brush we can have lines like this. So keep it lighter up. And those will have some lines. I want to connect those together technically, so like this, with everything that is around them, and they will feel fluffy later, something like this. More water on my brush because it's really dried. And if there are some of them is really thick, it's fine for now, because we will have another layer on them. But yeah, I'm just trying to make them more fluffy. And here definitely we have lines happening like this with this yellow. I need to clean my brush. I need some kind of a bluish color, so I'm just going with the cobalt blue now with white here. For these lines, it's just lines, but like they are the feathers technically, and they are very long, and I'm trying to make them really cylinder with this number 6 brush. We're just using the tip of it, and I just want to make those like here, whatever color I have, maybe with that, even the turquoise color, it could work like this around them. So it will feel like it's connected. Yeah. Just keep on adding water to my brush so it feels smooth. And I'm adding those around the eyes and behind them and all around, so it will feel like fluffy. And I can go up around them like this, and here as well, and every one of them. It's a little bit tedious, but again, it's just building the texture, building the layers, adding all these colors together will create this effect. And again, if some color is not showing, we can have another color similar or different just to build the contrast, and those colors will start to show up. For example, here I can have more cobalt blue. I can have just the turquoise from this side like this. And I'm just using the tip of the round brush to build those colors here, like this. I can go with the yellow, of course, and white. I think I'm going with the white the last. I can have even green. Like this. And connect all these things up. Like this. We can even use some kind of a flat brush. Not flat brush, a fan brush. If we want to, but, well, I don't want to. We're just keeping those here. Connect those up. Have some yellow maybe from this side like this. Up here, up here. Nice. This one definitely needs some work and contrast. So with the green, yellow, just keep altering between those layers and between these colors. If like I lost it, I can add the eye to it again, like on this side, more yellow. Here we have some colors. I'm going to my number 8 flat brush. Yeah, this one is easier actually, but it's really hard to do lines with it. The problem. Just adding white. Going back to my number 6 round brush. What color? Like here it needs something, so I'm going with blue, maybe. Yeah. maybe turquoise over the blue, maybe white. Just keep doing those lines because it's just building them. I can have more with this from this side here. I can have some green like this, emerald green or deep green, whatever it is called, and I can have some yellow with it and white. Here we can have something to connect this here, and here it will like continue like this with white. I'm going with my number 4 round brush for like smaller lines now, just white. And I can just add these stripes of white, especially up here, they are long. On this rounder manner, and they go up like this, nice. I can go with just blue. The blue is really faint away, maybe just blue and white. Yeah. Some green here. I'm just trying to build them. Some of the colors are really blending away, some of them is not showing. Maybe just the white really help for the fluffy parts like this. Whenever I feel like it's one dimensional like here, I can add something to it, maybe white. And make it go away. This one here going up. And the yellow. The cadmium yellow is really helping because it's the most, I feel like it's the warmest color on the palette, especially comparing to everything is really cool. So it's really contrasting very well now. So I'm just adding that color here, especially, oh, it feels really pretty, like this. Around those, yeah, around these eyes, whatever they are, of this beautiful peacock. It add illumination, it add all the things that we're missing. Yep, adding it all over now. It's one of my favorite colors, to be honest. This cadmium yellow, I love it so much. Cadmium yellow dark hue. Maybe here. And I am not cleaning my brush. Some of the colors are really mixing together now. Something like this, maybe white. And just lines. Maybe greenery here, like this, maybe blues. and here. Nice. I just need some kind of a fix here. Maybe some kind of like this. Nice. Maybe some green here. Just keep fiddling with it until we finish. But yeah, you can keep fiddling with it until you feel like happy with it. And I might keep continue working on it a little bit more. I'm just keep adding green now. I feel like the green is really working. And I'm just keep alternating again between the colors. Just I want everything to feel a little bit fluffier than it is and more vibrant in some places and darker in some places. I'm just adding a little bit of black just to add some kind of contrast to some of them. And yeah. So that was the last step of our painting. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I hope you painted yourself a beautiful peacock in the moonlight. And I hope to see you again in another video. Bye everybody.